Get crazy, get wild, let's party, get loud.
Hello everybody, this video is a bit overdue, but I'm talking today about Jersey Shore Season 6. When I say Jersey Shore, I mean the original one, not the family vacation show. I haven't watched that yet. First thing I want to start off is, Snooki's pregnant. She comes on to the show, and then she makes this big deal about, oh, you know what, I think I'm going to have to leave the Shore house. You know what, this isn't a place for a pregnant person. You knew that before you even got there. So then why are you making a big deal now of, oh, you know, I can't be here. There's too much drama. You knew that. That's literally, we've literally seen on Jersey Shore in the prior seasons, Mike, like, throwing his head into a wall. Snooki literally got punched the first season, and then you're going to go and bring your unborn child into that? It's like, you knew that the whole time. You're just making a big deal out of nothing. But yes, get away from the Shore house because your friends are getting drunk every night and you can't. So that was number one. Number two is Roger, Jenny's boyfriend, pushed her at Bamboo. That was such a mess. That was, along with other signs, Jenny should have thought then, you know what, this is a bad relationship. And it was so awful because at first she was very understanding about it and she wasn't mad. She was like, oh, I get it. Like, you didn't know it was me. And then he said no, like he knew it was her. Like he did it on purpose. That's the moment that she should have left. Especially because then he tried to justify it, be like, oh, you know that when men are fighting, you shouldn't get involved. Okay, have you ever thought about this, Roger? Have you ever considered that maybe if you knew that your girlfriend was there, you shouldn't have been fighting in the first place? Like, whatever happened to the honor of, let's take this outside. Let's go outside and get this sorted out. Whatever happened to that? But now, you're literally going to push your girlfriend. She hurt her foot, and then everybody in the house thinks she's lying about it when she says that she broke her foot, when she literally went to a doctor. It's like this man literally hurt you, and everybody's not taking it seriously. That's another problem with this show. The next thing I have to say is about Ron and Sam, same old, whatever. This time, here's something that it involves Vinny and Pauly as well. Sam pulled a prank where she locked the door so that the guys couldn't get inside. Just their normal, prank war stuff, right? So Vinny and Pauly decide to get revenge and move Sam and Ron's mattress. But then Vinny accidentally broke the air mattress so it won't blow up, right? Then Ron gets mad at Sam. Not Vinny, the guy who broke the mattress. No. Ron gets mad at Sam because, oh, you pulled this stupid prank, you blah, blah, blah. Okay, first of all, it was Vinny and Pauly's decision to take Sam's prank and then dish it out on you as well. That was a bad call on their part. Sam didn't ask for that. It's like, what, you're saying just because she's in a relationship, she can't do any kind of pranks without it affecting you? That wasn't her fault. She didn't ask Vinny to do that. That was his fault. And honestly, so Ron acted like a total child there. Also, I want to say, I think that was a big L on Vinny's part. Vinny should have stepped up and said to Ron, hey, don't yell at Sam. It was my fault, man. I'm the one that decided to do this prank, and I'm the one that messed it up and broke the air mattress. So that was a fault on both of their part, that all of them just let Ron take that from Sam when she didn't deserve that. Speaking of Vinny, I want to go back to Vinny. In the beginning of this season, more in the beginning, I guess, Dina was, really stressed out, had a little, anxiety, I guess, attachment problem whenever she was away from her boyfriend, Chris. And she was talking about her anxiety, and at first, now this is different from later in the season, but at first, Vinny's like, no, there's nothing wrong with you, like, get over it, blah, blah, blah. It's like you're not listening to her. She's saying that she has a problem, and let's not forget, whatever season it was before this, everybody made such a big deal about Vinny and his clinical anxiety, and he has to go home, he can't be at the Shore house anymore, but then everybody's understanding with that, but then when it comes to Dina, everybody's like, no, you're drunk, you just need to get over it. It's like, you're not listening to her. Like, she's saying she has a problem. There was such a double standard with how Vinny's anxiety was viewed compared to Dina's. Now, I will say later in the season, Vinny did get a little bit more compassionate and he tried to help Dina, but I thought that was such a double standard that everybody acted like Dina was crazy, but Vinny, it's like, oh, you know what, we don't get it, but we respect it. We respect you, Vinny, that you need to leave. That was such a double standard. The last thing that I really have to talk about is the whole Mike and Paula thing. Okay, first of all, let's not forget how these guys act in the Shore house. They'll bring a girl home, then call a cab, you gotta go home, stuff like that, just bragging about whatever they do, right? Then Mike likes Paula, right? And he starts dating her. And then, you know, Paula's like, oh, can we have the smush room? And everybody's like, it's like Mike's embarrassed of her. It's like, did you forget that that's how you've been treating every other girl that you brought into this house? But now all of a sudden it comes to your girlfriend and she has to be embarrassed. She's literally in a relationship with you. But now all of a sudden it's crazy when she talks like that. But that's how you've been talking the whole entire show. Then, let's not forget, Mike said that Paula needed a little fixing up, that there were a few things that he didn't like about her, but she can be easily fixed. Whoa, 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 whoa. First of all, you need to fix yourself, Mike. Like, let's not forget that. You need to fix yourself. But then you go talk. First of all, if you didn't like her, then why did you ask her to be your girlfriend? Let's not forget, she started off and she was like, you know what, if that's something he wants, you know, but I'm not going to assume that I'm ever in a relationship. I'm never going to assume that. He brought it upon himself. He liked Paula. He was like, you know what, I want to make an honest woman out of her, you know. But now it's like he's acting like she has a problem. Then don't date her. And then this is one of the more, I guess, cruel things I've seen on here. Mike went to go break up with Paula and he brought the people from the Shore House, his friends there, to watch as entertainment. Hello? First of all, that's a private thing. And obviously she's going to be upset because she's like literally in love with you. And then you're going to bring them there so they can laugh and watch as if they're going to like eat popcorn, sit there watching, go on. That was wrong. Not to mention before that, let's not forget, Mike's telling people, you know, he's got to break up with Paula. He's can't do it anymore. And then word gets back to her and he acts like she's crazy, talking about, oh no, I just, you know, this and that. First of all, just man up and say it. She said, hey, if there's something you need to tell me, but first of all, don't talk like that and then pretend like you never did, because now you're lying. That's ridiculous. You sound ridiculous. You're gaslighting her. You know what you said, Mike. You know you've told everybody else except for her that you wanted to break up with her. Then there's this whole thing with Mike got mad because Paula asked, him to hold her drink, right? And this is the part where everybody else in the house is like, yeah, you know what? She shouldn't have done that. You know, that was wrong. I could see where Mike would be mad. No. Should she have done that? Maybe not. But let me explain where I'm coming from in that I don't think that was that bad of a thing on Paula's part. Okay. So he's a recovering alcoholic. I understand that, right? Why is he in the club when he's surrounded by alcohol? And I know different people have their different limits and can tolerate this and that, but you're surrounded in a club by alcohol, right? And then she just wants you to hold it for a minute and you go, oh no, how could you ask me to do that? Why are you here on the Shore House with this partying life if you're not drinking? And I understand, you know, I'm not an alcoholic. I wouldn't know what it's like, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But let's not also forget the idea that, you know, it's always about cover your drink, watch your drink. You don't want someone to spike your drink. You don't want someone to drug your drink, right? So that's kind of dangerous to just leave your drink out unattended, right? So Paula, I don't know what she needed to do, if she needed to go into her bag, if she needed to go to the bathroom, whatever reason, she needed somebody to hold her drink. The reason why she's asking Mike is because she trusts Mike. She trusts Mike that he's not going to let anything happen to her drink. She didn't mean it in a way of, you know what, I'm going to tempt you with this alcohol. She didn't mean it like that. Now, was it an accident? Okay, sure. But for you to act like she was totally crazy for asking that, I thought that was such an over exaggeration on Mike's part. Like, obviously she didn't mean it like that. Like, if you were like, no alcohol at all, I can't be around alcohol, then she wouldn't have asked you that. But you're literally in a club and she just asked you to hold her drink and then you act like she's crazy. I thought that was wrong. Then everybody acted like Paula was crazy because Mike would be at a club, right? And he'd be hitting on girls and then be like, whoa, like, why is she kind of acting like, you know, Polly's ex-stalker? You know, why is she acting like, okay, the reason why she's acting like this is because she wrote you a note about how like she loves you and all this stuff, and you couldn't respond to her and just say, hey, I really don't want it. I don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore. If Mike would have just manned up and said, hey, you know, I love you as a friend, but we're not going to work out as a relationship, that's it, then I would think Paula would have respected that. It's because Mike didn't want to do that. He still wanted to sleep with her on the side. He still wanted the convenience of the, you know, like friends with benefits thing of their relationship without having to date her. That's the reason why she's acting like this, because you're giving her all these mixed signals. If you could just man up and say, hey, this is what it is, I'm really using you, then it wouldn't have been like that. So honestly, Paula's behavior there was also Mike's fault. And then finally, we have the part where Paula gives Mike this birthday cake, but this guy's genitals on the cake. And I think the reason why Mike didn't see that is because of his ego. In his mind, he's like, oh, Paula's in love with me. Why shouldn't he be? Why would she do anything to the cake? Think, hello, because you've been using her, you broke up with her, you've been treating her like poop. That's why she would do that. And I thought that was, because then Polly had some of the cake as well. Polly was like, oh, that's messed up. Why would she do that? That's interesting that you would speak now, Polly, but you didn't speak when all of y'all in the house heard how he was disrespecting Paula, saying all this about Paula and how basically she should keep her mouth closed and all this stuff. Nobody says anything. I think maybe Ron might have said something, but nobody says anything in the house, right? Now all of a sudden Paula does her retaliation. Oh, she's crazy. Why would she do that? Hello? So if Mike didn't have such his big ego, then he would have seen that coming. Obviously, don't accept the cake from somebody that you've been treating like this and you broke up with. Hello? Ridiculous. Anyway, Mike had that coming. Now, I guess that, that wasn't very good. Like, if somebody did something like that to me and gave me a cake that was messed up like that, I would be pressing charges. However, Mike did bring that upon himself. So those are all my thoughts on Jersey Shore Season 6. Anybody wants to comment, let me know what you thought. And yeah.